Let's start off with a simple explanation. You guys' votes determines the trial's outcome. Finger the true villain, and only the villain gets punished. But make the wrong accusation, and everyone else gets punished, leaving your deceiver to graduate free and clear.
Is one of us really the culprit?
You betcha.
All right, everyone, close your eyes. Then raise your hand if you're the culprit.
You a dumbass? Who'd raise their hand?
Can this wait? There's something I'd like to ask before we begin. What exactly is the purpose of that?
Isn't it sad to be left out just 'cause you're dead? Friendship overcomes life and death.
Coming over friendship.
In that case, what about that empty seat? There are only 15 of us, so why are there 16 seats?
No reason in particular. It just means the courtroom can accommodate up to 16 people. Well, that should do it for the intro. Let's get this party started! First, how about a summary of what went down? Go on, get crackin'!
Here goes. The trial to figure out which one of us is the culprit. If something strange comes up and I don't say anything, then not just mine, but everyone's lives will be in danger.
Let it be known, Sayaka Mizuno was murdered!
Dude, we know that much.
The murder occurred in Naegi's bedroom.
She was in the shower. And while in the shower, Mizuno was suddenly attacked and killed without a fight.
You got that wrong! Wait a second, Fujisaki. You're forgetting about the state of my room. It's obvious from the room's condition that some sort of struggle took place there.
A struggle? Between who?
The struggle was between Mizuno and the culprit, of course.
So Mizuno wasn't suddenly attacked while she was in the shower?
Rather, she fled to the shower after being attacked in Nagi's bedroom. The culprit gave chase, and that's where she was killed.
If you'd so much as looked at the scene, we wouldn't have to spell things out for you.
I'm really sorry.
Alright, then let's move on.
Indeed. The next topic is that of the murder weapon.
Ah, so this is what it's come to.
I need to make sure everyone knows what weapon the culprit used to kill Mizuno.
What was the weapon used to murder Sayaka Mizuno?
It was the blade sticking out of Mizuno's stomach. Without a doubt, that was the murder weapon.
The culprit took that dagger and freaking shanked her with it. That sick little son of a bitch. The culprit took that dagger and freaking shanked her with it.
You got that wrong! That blade wasn't a dagger. It was a kitchen knife.
Huh? A kitchen knife?
One of the knives from the kitchen was found missing after the incident.
And it was that knife which was used for the murder.
Yeah. You're probably right. If you look real close, the thing sticking out of that chick's gut does look like a knife.
Yeah, we get it. She was killed with a knife. What's your point? I mean, really, any way you spin it, Naegi's still the killer.
That's right. Naegi's room was the crime scene. What more proof could you want?
Wait a minute,
You defeat the purpose of this trial by drawing a conclusion before we finished our debate.
I'm just saying, the outcome ain't gonna change no matter how much we talk about it.
No, that's not true. I'm certain we'll reach a breakthrough if we continue the debate.
Huh? A breakthrough?
She's right. There's gotta be more buried here. Because I, myself, know I'm not the culprit, beyond a shadow of a doubt.
Right, so the weapon was a knife. But what's your point?
Naegi took it from the kitchen. When the cafeteria was empty, he snuck it out. Then, he stabbed Sayaka Maizono.
See? So Naegi is the culprit!
Then it's settled. Hasta la vista, baby.
When the cafeteria was empty, he snuck it out.
You got that wrong! Wait! It wasn't me who took the knife from the kitchen.
Next you're going to say, I'm not the culprit. Say all you want, you're just talk.
And what if I said there was a witness? Isn't that right, Asahina?
Huh?
I mean, you told me so yourself.
Last night I came here to have some tea. When I went into the kitchen, they were all there. But when I finished drinking my tea in the cafeteria, I went into the kitchen to clean up. And it was gone.
So the knife disappeared while you were in the cafeteria drinking tea?
Yeah.
Asahina, the knife disappeared while you were in the cafeteria, right?
Yeah, it did.
And did I come to the cafeteria while you were there?
I don't think you did.
You don't think?
No, he didn't. I'm positive.
The knife was taken while Asahina was in the cafeteria, yet I didn't go there during that time. In other words, I couldn't have taken the knife.
In that case, what about this? Makoto Naegi and that brainless mermaid are accomplices, and she's falsifying her testimony.
Brainless mermaid? Wait a sec, why am I an accomplice?
On the subject, I'd like to ask the teddy bear, if there is an accomplice, are they too considered a villain?
Well, here's your answer. While it is possible to bring along an accomplice for a murder, only the perpetrator himself can graduate.
Which means, no matter how much they assist in the crime, the accomplice has nothing to gain.
Then it doesn't seem likely there's an accomplice.
But the culprit might not have known about that rule.
Just get on with it, come on! There's no accomplice this time. Oops, I've said too much.
Anyway, I didn't go to the cafeteria, and I didn't take the knife. Which means I'm not the culprit.
Then who really did go get the knife?
It is possible Asahina, who was in the cafeteria the entire time, could have done it.
No, it wasn't me.
Is there perchance another who could corroborate that?
Last night, I was in the cafeteria drinking tea with Sakura the entire time.
Just for the record, Sakura is...
I.
Gotcha.
So either Hina or Ogre snuck out with the knife?
Nope, that's not possible. Because,
Out with it!
Last night I slept in Asahina's room.
I was scared after watching that creepy video, so I kind of forced Sakura to stay the night. So anyway, we've both got alibis.
Isn't that against the rules?
It is prohibited to sleep outside a bedroom, but sleeping in someone else's room isn't prohibited. So I don't think there's any problem.
Of course there's a problem! It's unwholesome! A man and woman sleeping in the same room!
But I am female.
Forgive me.
But if the two in the cafeteria didn't do it, there are no others.
No, there remains another option. Does there not, Asahina?
Yeah, actually. While we were in the cafeteria, one other person did come by.
And this didn't come up earlier. Why?
Because it's someone who's no longer here.
Someone no longer here? She couldn't possibly mean...
The one who came to the cafeteria was the victim, Sayaka Maizono.
Maizono? In which case, the person who took the knife is... I see! So, it was Maizono who took the knife?
That is indeed how it appears to be. Furthermore, thinking back on it now, her behavior was a little unusual. She entered the cafeteria and went straight to the kitchen, not a glance in our direction. She said she came for a drink of water, but more than likely that was when...
So the one who took the knife was the victim herself? Maizono?
I'm sure she thought she could use it to defend herself.
So the culprit stole the knife Maizono took to defend herself, then killed her with it? Which means, just because someone didn't take the knife doesn't mean they're in the clear.
Huh?
Yes, see? Naegi really is the culprit after all.
I told you, I didn't do it!
So that was your goal all along, to twist the discussion and lead us down the wrong path. You are the proprietor of a terrifying ability.
Crap! At this rate, I really will be named the culprit. Why don't you get it, guys? If you decide I'm the culprit, everyone is dead!
Wait. Don't you think it's a little early to declare Naegi the culprit? The culprit took actions which are inconceivable for the owner of the room. Until we solve the aforementioned mystery, can we say for sure Naegi is the culprit?
Inconceivable? The hell are you talking about?
Something you'd expect to find in Naegi's room. The crime scene was conspicuously missing. You know where this is going, don't you, Naegi?
Something you would expect to find at the crime scene but wasn't there? I can feel it. It's right on the tip of my tongue. Yes, I understand! That's right. There wasn't even a single strand of hair in my room.
So you're saying the culprit destroyed evidence?
Now, if I were the culprit, would I really need to clean my own room so thoroughly of hair? I mean, there's nothing unusual about my own hair being in my own room, is there?
You cleaned the room of hair to remove any trace of the fact that Maizono had visited your room. Is that so hard to believe?
If he wanted to remove any trace of her, rather than her hair, he would have removed her corpse.
A reasonable claim.
But then, why wasn't there any hair?
Because the culprit cleaned it, of course, to hide the fact that they had visited the room.
Which means...
Yes, it is unthinkable that the culprit could be the owner of the room.
Then Naegi isn't the culprit?
But is it acceptable to make such an important decision based solely on hair?
No. There is further foundation on which we can say Naegi is not the culprit.
We are listening.
Think back on the vicinity of the shower, where the crime took place. Maizono was first attacked in Naegi's room, and after that she fled into the shower.
The culprit chased after her into the shower. There, he stabbed and killed her.
At that time, was the culprit able to enter the shower unhindered?
Whatever do you mean?
In order to enter the shower, the culprit had to exert considerable effort. Doing so, the culprit would have left behind clear evidence. Do you remember, Naegi?
The culprit had to exert considerable effort to enter the shower. The evidence of that is... I see! The shower's doorknob is evidence of the effort the culprit took, right?
What happened to the doorknob, dude?
It was broken. The doorknob to my bedroom's shower was broken. See? The upper screws were removed, and the doorknob was undone.
It's true. But why is the doorknob?
To break the shower's lock, the culprit removed the entire doorknob. This is another action inconceivable of the room's owner. Further basis, Naegi couldn't be the culprit.
You're saying he wouldn't bust down his own door? But if he had to break it down, he'd break it down! Hardly inconceivable!
So you still don't understand. In that case, let's go back over the progression of the crime. I'm sure you'll understand then.
What Kirigiri means by actions inconceivable of the room's owner is hidden in the progression of the crime?
The incident occurred in Naegi's bedroom. Maizono was first attacked in the room, then fled into the shower.
Chasing after her, the culprit entered the shower.
Then, the culprit broke the doorknob. Because the shower door was locked.
There, Maizono was backed into a corner.
And met her end with a knife to the stomach.
Naegi did that to her. It's settled.
Because the shower door was locked.
You got that wrong! The reason my shower door wouldn't open isn't because it was locked. That's because only the girls' rooms have locks on their shower doors, right?
Now that you mention it, that is the case.
Then why wouldn't Naegi's shower door open?
Because of the door's alignment.
Huh? Your door's alignment?
The door to my shower isn't aligned properly. Monokuma can attest to that.
Yes, he speaks the truth. But for the super duper high school Luxter Naegi to get the only room with a misaligned door? That's not good luck at all.
The shower door wouldn't open because it was misaligned. But the culprit mistook it for being locked. For that reason, the culprit broke the whole doorknob.
So, why would the culprit mistakenly think the door was locked? Every one of us should have known the boys' rooms don't have locks on their showers.
The culprit made that mistake because they were unaware of an important fact about the scene.
An important fact about the crime scene? Something the killer didn't know. That caused them to assume the shower door was locked? They must not have known they were in... I see! The culprit most likely didn't know that the crime scene was my room.
What? The killer didn't know where the crime took place? Unprecedented!
But he's right.
What?
Though, to be more precise, the culprit didn't know that Naegi and Maizono had exchanged rooms. For that reason, the culprit mistook the room Maizono was in for her own bedroom.
And so, believing the shower door to be locked, he destroyed the lock.
Unaware of the futility of his actions.
In the end, there's no saying whether it was the culprit's use of force or the whims of fate. But, in all the confusion, I doubt the culprit knew exactly why it opened either.
Whatever the case, he has quite the roundabout methodology, trying to break a non-existent lock.
There's no way I'd do something like that, knowing why the door didn't open, right?
I admit, you're probably right.
Then the culprit is someone who didn't know about the room exchange?
Naegi doesn't fit the profile.
And I've been saying as much from the start.
Then who is the killer?
Pardon me, but I'm laying down my king.
What'll happen if we don't figure out who the killer is?
Alright, then we'll just decide it by majority vote.
You can just do that?
Anyway, isn't this kinda bad? Someone's gotta do something true as truth. Or...
It doesn't matter how insignificant it may seem. Is there anyone who has any sort of uncertainty?
Ah, I have one.
Oh, you.
Why do you sound so disappointed?
Hurry up and tell us, Asahina!
Yeah. So, I was thinking, how did the culprit get into Naegi's room in the first place?
Indeed, the method the culprit used to enter the crime scene.
Could Maizono have dropped her room key, and then the culprit found it?
I don't think she would drop it so conveniently.
Then, did he pick the lock?
No, the lock should be equipped with an anti-picking mechanism.
Then allow me to answer. The culprit used a much simpler method. The culprit disguised himself as a visitor, and Maizono invited him in herself.
No, that's not right.
Oh, someone doesn't know their place. You're quite something to be contradicting me. Earth to Naegi! How can you be so sure that I am wrong?
I need evidence that Maizono wouldn't have invited anyone else into the room. That's easy enough. I see! Maizono was afraid, remember? That's why she asked to exchange rooms with me. You too, Maizono. Don't open the door for anyone, no matter what.
Even if I'm sure it's you, I won't open the door. Otherwise, trading rooms would be a little pointless.
I can't imagine she would open the door herself after saying that to me.
And what if her fear itself was a lie?
Huh? What are you saying? Why would she tell a lie like that?
You probably don't want to consider the possibility, Naegi. But can you still say that after seeing this?
I want to speak with you alone. Please come to my room in 5 minutes. Be sure to check the nameplate so you don't get the wrong room.
By rubbing a pencil over the top page of a notepad in a certain room, this message appeared.
I I've seen it on TV before. Writing in a notepad leaves marks on the next page that you can see by rubbing over it with a pencil. When I saw that, I thought, when writing in a notepad, you've got to tear out a page first.
It's an old trick, but the classics can be surprisingly helpful. For the record, that notepad was found on the desk in Naegi's room.
Huh?
In summary, only someone who had been in Naegi's room prior could have left this note.
Either the room's owner, Naegi, or the one who exchanged rooms with him last night, Maizono.
Naegi, did you write this?
No, I didn't.
Indeed. This note also has what appears to be Maizono's signature.
Then this note was written by Maizono? But why would she write a note like that?
She was trying to call on a certain person. In doing so, she made use of that note. By slipping the note under their door, she attempted to call upon them in secret.
To be summoned in that fashion by the super-duper high school idol would OHKO any guy! Though, that doesn't apply to me with my two-dimension restriction.
However, does the supposed character called upon by that note actually exist? Even assuming such a character exists, it's unthinkable they could be involved in the incident.
Huh? Why not?
Would you like to know? Then allow me to tell you. Maizono and Naegi exchanged rooms, did they not? However, according to the note, my room is the meeting place.
Ah, yeah. If they were summoned by that note, they would have gone to Maizono's room.
Maizono's room? Where Naegi was. Which is to say, even if someone did receive the note, they have no connection to the incident.
Indeed, that appears to be the case.
Maizono's room? Where Naegi was.
You got that wrong! My room and Maizono's room had our nameplates swapped.
The nameplates?
Yes, just like the room exchange. Because of that, the nameplate on Maizono's room where Naegi was said Makoto Naegi. And the nameplate on Naegi's room where Maizono was said Sayaka Maizono.
In other words, Maizono really was in the room with the Sayaka Maizono nameplate.
So if they did as the note said, they would have gone to Naegi's room, where Maizono was.
On top of that, their rooms are right next to each other. Perfect for a nameplate swap. So, who did it? Naturally, you didn't do it, did you, Naegi?
No.
Then, who are you saying did it?
Who could have swapped the nameplates? It could only have been that person. I see! The only people who knew about the room exchange in the first place were me and Maizono. Therefore, other than me, the only person who could have swapped the nameplates is Maizono.
You can also infer that from the content of her note. She told the recipient to check the room's nameplate. She couldn't have written that without knowing about the nameplate swap.
But why would Maizono do something like swap the nameplates?
She wanted to call someone to the room she was in, while keeping the room exchange secret.
Huh?
What's the purpose of doing all that? calling on someone while still keeping the room exchange a secret?
In order to understand that, we need to know what happened inside the room after she invited that person inside.
What happened after that? Most likely, the person Mizuno summoned came after her. What's this? We've stumbled upon the culprit. The person summoned by that note is the culprit.
And we don't know who that is. That's the whole problem.
Mizuno and the culprit first had some sort of struggle in the room, yes? By any chance, could the answer to that question lie in the struggle they had there?
Yes, precisely.
So we've just got to figure out what happened during the struggle, right?
That reminds me, there was a practice sword at the scene. Was that used during the struggle?
Oh yeah. What's up with that?
That's something I brought back for self-defense at Mizuno's suggestion. I'm sure that's what the culprit used to break Mizuno's right wrist.
That practice sword was used to break Mizuno's wrist? How the hell can you know that?
The practice sword was used to break Mizuno's wrist. The evidence for that. I see! See for yourself by looking at Mizuno's broken right wrist. Did you see where her right wrist is swollen? There's something shiny there.
Is that gold?
Yeah, it's gold leaf from that practice sword. Just barely touch the gold leaf and it comes right off. And that's what's on Mizuno's wrist.
Aha! She received a blow to her wrist from that practice sword.
I see. I can feel the truth drawing nearer.
Alright, let's exercise this mystery, dude. Let's expose every last detail of what happened there.
What happened in that room? To reach the truth behind Mizuno's death, we first need to reveal that.
When the struggle began in that room, the culprit drew the practice sword, and with it, dealt the first strike. The practice sword preemptive strike, dude.
And thereupon broke Master Sayaka Mizuno's wrist.
Hurriedly attempting to strike back, she drew the knife she had hidden.
But the culprit even took that from her.
And then, she was killed.
And that's everything that went down in that room, dude. The practice sword preemptive strike, dude.
You got that wrong! No. It's not possible that the first strike was with the practice sword.
What? Why not?
Because of the damage to the practice sword's scabbard. See? There are slash marks like it was cut with a blade.
A blade? You mean the knife? That knife was the only blade at the crime scene.
This ain't word association. Explain things more clearly.
If the first strike was with the practice sword, then it doesn't follow for the scabbard to be damaged. I mean, if you're attacking someone with a practice sword, wouldn't you normally draw the blade?
Leave the scabbard on and it's just heavy and in the way. Just one big handicap.
Then why be the scabbard damaged?
What if, for example, they were suddenly attacked with a knife and took the sword for defense? There wouldn't be time to draw the blade from the scabbard.
In other words, the practice sword was first used in defense against the knife.
Which in turn means the first one to strike was the one who held the knife.
I got it! This is what happened. As soon as the culprit entered the room, he discovered the hidden knife. And using that knife, suddenly attacked Mizuno. She scrambled to fight back with the practice sword, but even that was taken from her. Then, after breaking her wrist with a blow from the practice sword, he took the knife and...
No, it's not likely Mizuno fought back with a practice sword.
Huh? Why the hell not?
Mizuno didn't touch the practice sword. A particular part of her body makes that obvious.
I see! You're talking about Mizuno's palms, right? Mizuno's hands were clean, so it's hard to believe she held the practice sword.
How can you tell that just by looking at her palms?
I mentioned it before, but the practice sword's gold leaf comes off at just the slightest touch. A significant portion of the gilding on the practice sword's hilt has been rubbed off. That's almost certainly because the gold leaf rubbed off on the hand of whoever used it. So if Mizuno had used the practice sword, it doesn't make sense for her hands to be clean.
Couldn't she have just washed her hands when she fled into the shower?
No, she couldn't have.
Why can you deny that? Is it because I'm ugly?
No, that's not what I'm saying. Some evidence that Mizuno didn't wash gold leaf off her hand in the shower. I see! According to the Monokuma file, Mizuno died at 1:30 a.m. In other words, nighttime. Water doesn't flow to the showers during the nighttime, right?
I have no idea. I've never taken a shower before.
Oh, wow.
You're the same way, aren't you? You smell like a channeled apple snail.
Huh? Is that a compliment? Criticism?
She's criticizing you, pretty frickin' obviously.
Anyway, if she didn't touch the practice sword, then that means it was the culprit who used the practice sword. Wait, in which case, the person who slashed the practice sword scabbard with the knife was...
The person who slashed the scabbard would have to be the one who didn't have the practice sword. I see! Mizuno? She had the knife?
But as I recall, the person who attacked first...
The one with the knife struck first, and the practice sword was used to defend against that.
Ergo, the one who struck first...
Was Mizuno?
Do you understand now? That she wasn't simply a victim.
She was far from just a victim. It seems more like she was intending to commit murder herself.
Huh?
She took the knife from the kitchen, then invited the culprit to the room where she was staying. On top of that, if she was the one who struck first with the knife...
Indeed, those are the actions of a perpetrator.
Now that I think about it, it was Mizuno who proposed she and Naegi exchange rooms, was it not? Perhaps she proposed the room exchange. So she could frame Naegi for her own crime.
Mizuno would do that to me?
However, using that line of thought also takes care of the nameplate swap. She wanted to lure her target into Naegi's room where she was staying. So by committing murder in that room, she could direct suspicion at Naegi. And in order to do that, she needed to keep the room exchange hidden from her target. If her target had found out about the exchange, it would have most definitely raised a red flag.
And that's why she swapped the nameplates?
Be that as it may, that plan is still far too dangerous, nay? Even if she successfully eliminated her target, Master Makoto Naegi could reveal the exchange.
I don't buy it. I don't think soft-hearted Naegi could throw Mizono to the wolves. Mizono probably selected Naegi to exchange rooms with her for that exact same reason.
Plus, she's a super-duper high school idol. Between plain Naegi and famed idol Mizono, whose word would you normally believe?
Then, that was also part of her plan?
Seriously?
And yet, her plan still ended in failure. When she attacked with the knife, she was countered by the practice sword. And then her right wrist was broken and she dropped the knife.
Then she was killed by the person who was supposed to be her target.
Hold on a second! That's not right! Because...
Hey! Haven't we drifted a little off topic? What do you think this is, a soap opera? Come on! Hurry up and decide who's the villain! Time's up! Punishment for everyone! Oh, wouldn't it just suck if that happened?
Yeah, dude. We've got to find the culprit first.
Naegi, right now you must focus on solving the mysteries. If we don't discover who killed Mizono, then it's all over.
It's all over? You're telling me to find the culprit, but what do you expect me to do? There aren't any more clues left.